What is up, everybody? The Red Dragon here, and we are featuring a video by TX Coulter. This guy does a lot of funny, hilarious stuff on his channel, but this time around, he's actually got a Battlefield 3 tutorial for you, the F-35. I think you're going to really enjoy it. If you do, be sure you click on the links in the description box, go comment, give him a like, and subscribe to him.
What is up, guys? TX Coulter here. Those of you that are my subscribers, you guys know that I usually do things for fun, usually troll, anything to get a good reaction out of people, and I throw it up for you guys to laugh at as well. Those of you at the Red Dragons channel, I'm TX Coulter. I do games for fun, basically, but no time for introductions about what I do. I'm getting locked on. So I'm referencing my air radar, seeing what could be happening, but I'm spotting that there's a helicopter right there. And I'm so close to this helicopter, I just go ahead and deploy my flares, because by the time that you actually hear that the missile is incoming, it's going to be too late. Those missiles are probably going to hit you, or if you deploy your flares, you're not going to get your missile away from you. Okay, so right now I'm trying to find where this helicopter is, because it's one of the biggest threats, because helicopters just love to sit back, lock onto you, and fire, and it's just annoying. Engaging that jet right there would be useless, and so I finally spot him. I'm trying to get some good shots off, but as you see, I'm tilted up right there, and all I wanted to do was disable him, so I'm giving him trouble, and then I need to recover right away, because most people would realize that they just want to get that kill, right? And then they're tilted up, and if you're doing that in a helicopter, what happens? You're going to end up falling back, and that's how a lot of people just end up crashing, and then they say, oh, the F-35 is just horrible. Okay, so if that jet's going to engage me, then that has to be somewhat my priority, especially if I'm going to have the help of my wingman up here. And as you can see, like right when you hear that high-pitched sound that you're gonna go into hover mode, you need to, what I do at least, is I hit the afterburner so I can get some speed, and I just start engaging them, try to get behind them as I do, which I personally think if they're going straight, that's actually kind of hard for me. I kind of wait for them to turn if I can, and then I finish them off, but I'll still fire at them, because if they're just gonna go in a straight line, you gotta shoot at them. He ends up bailing out. Whatever, that's fine for me. Now, you're going to see a little bit more of my strategy here. I love these guided missiles. I'm a whore for them. And so these things are great for spying. You'll see better examples of it later on in the match. If you hit them with the guided shell, I would highly suggest you go to your other guns and at least disable the vehicles. Now again, helicopter. He's locking onto me. I got to use my flares almost instantly. This was kind of ballsy of me to do. I went into hover mode right in front of him, and he switched over to his other guns. He didn't screw me up too bad. Now, I'm assuming that he's going to be locking onto me again, so I kind of go around the outside of the map so I get some distance between me and him so my flares can come back. And now I'm just waiting for him to finally fire his flares, and I can deploy him as usual. And actually, I hear that other beeping, and sometimes I feel like this game might kind of screw up, or your targeting systems might not give you the best information, so I go ahead and fire him again, just make sure those missiles are off me. And this guy actually snuck up on me. I'll give him props on that one. I didn't see him, and so luckily he didn't finish me off. And with him trying to turn around, I'm able to get behind him. And when you're turning in this F-35, if you're holding down left trigger, I'm referencing Xbox 360, if you're using the brakes pretty much, if you're gonna turn and hold down on those brakes, you're gonna end up going in hover mode. And right when you hear your jet going into hover mode, you hear kind of like this high-pitched engine like starting up, or I don't know. You'll recognize it once you start playing with this. Which obviously, the more you practice, you'll get better with it. But once you hear your jet going into hover mode, I kick on the afterburners, and so I keep getting that speed, and I'll keep turning, and then I'll brake again, and then keep hitting those afterburners so I can turn as tightly as possible, or at least as tightly as this F-35 will allow me to. Obviously the flankers, I believe that's what the enemy has, they're going to be a lot more maneuverable. They can turn, but every jet's going to have its weaknesses and its advantages. Their advantage is that they can turn, they can go around like crazy, but my advantage is I can stop a lot quicker, I can hover like a helicopter, all that good stuff. Alright, so right now I'm not having the best dogfight, I agree. I see that there are mobile AAs out there. I'm just a whore for those missiles, so I'll try it. I end up getting a kill. I think someone who was running for that, and so I ended up hitting them right before they entered that.
How do you even go like up when you're hovering?
See, as you heard there, my friend said, how do you even hover in this thing? You gotta think of it, when you're in hover mode and you're holding down left trigger, and as you'll see here, your thruster points down, so it's kind of pushing you up, but it's barely pushing you up. It's barely giving you enough to take off the ground. So even if you're hovering, like how I am here, my momentum is pushing down though. Like I went into hover mode as I was like descending to the ground. So my momentum is mainly taking me down, let's say at like 5 feet per second. Now once I go into hover mode, it's maybe like 3 feet per second, then 2 feet per second, then 1 foot per second, but that takes a long time to do. Basically, if you're descending, I would say point upwards, and you're still in your normal flying mode, point upwards, ascend up into the air, and then level it out, and then as you're leveling it out, then hit left trigger to go into hover mode. That way, you're going to be balanced. Let's say, like, if you're flying a helicopter and you're pointing upwards, your nose is pointing upwards, you're obviously going to be flying backwards, and you're probably going to be running into the ground. And if your jet is off balance to the left, and it's left wing is down, right wing's up, and it's turning left like that while it's in hover mode, yeah, you can do that in a helicopter, and you can recover from it just fine because you have great ascending power. Your propellers will bring you up, and you'll be fine. You'll move on with your day. But with F-35, if you're tilting left, or if you're tilting in any direction that isn't balanced, you'll just keep going that direction. Your thrusters have so little power. It's like the hover mode is a secondary. It wasn't made particularly just for that. Obviously, it's a jet, so you got to keep that in mind. If you're tilted to the left or to the right, you need to find a way to balance that out right away, as you're actually going to see me do. See, I'm a whore for these missiles because I feel like I'm an AC-130. So I try to get into hover mode, see if I can find some people, maybe pick them off for my team. So I'm kind of going kind of retarded until I see, okay, this isn't going to work out just too well. So what I actually do here is I want to start ascending. It's not going to happen, so I just let go of left trigger right there. So just let me go down, and then I hit left trigger. So I'm completely bounced out, just like how you take off from the carrier. I'm holding left trigger, and right now I'm completely balanced, so I'm going to keep ascending just fine. I'm trying to see anyone I can see. When you're in the guided missiles, when you're in that view, that is great for marking people. So I'm getting locked on. I think it's from these guys coming over here, except if you saw that, the missile came from this direction. I'll take the risk of being able to take this person out. I already used my flares, I just had to take that hit. So once that happens, I might be being locked on again. So I just go ahead, take off, try to create as much space for me and whoever was locking onto me, perhaps for a second time. I start recovering. I go back into horror mode, go into my own little AC-130. Now I see my teammates trying to take, I can't see that on my screen, it might be A. Then again, it might be C, but I think it's A. And so I see somebody actually running to that. I had a lock on that earlier, but I didn't fire just yet. And then I saw people running towards it, and it actually ended up paying off. And I'm seeing where this person's heading. I thought they were heading to that one, and I was wrong. I decided that I don't have enough time to lock onto that tank that they actually got into. For one, I don't think I would have acquired the lock in time before I ran into the ground. And second, I was being locked on. So what I do, once again, I already used my flares once, so I need to create as much space between me and the whoever's locking onto me again, so I can get my flares back, then go ahead and use them again. See, as you saw there, I was kind of low, and perhaps I would have been descending if I went into hover mode there. So I climb up a little bit, I level it out, and then I go into balance. And I balance it out, and then I'm in hover mode. I'm just fine. I end up not getting a hit marker there. I don't think I even hit that tank there, so I'm kind of bad at this. I always prefer killing the people that are in the buggies, or aiming, locking onto them, because there's a chance that somebody might be tagging along with them, and also you have a decent chance at killing them in one hit. Like, they're just done, because they have so little protection, obviously. So, maybe it would have benefited my team a little bit more if I would have locked onto a tank. On A, as you can see here, I don't exactly see people there, but I went ahead and marked them, and so my teammates can see it, and it helps me lock on as well. I don't get the hit marker there. I feel like I'm high enough in the sky, and I'm safe enough from my air radar. I see that I might be safe enough. I go ahead and keep the lock on him. I let my missiles come back, and it ended up paying off. Usually, you know, that's kind of a risk. As you see, I'm being a little douchebag there, and I'm giving them something to look at in the quote-unquote battlefield kill cam, if you want to call it that. But we'll come back. This is part 1. Part 2 will be out soon. This is TX Coulter. Thanks for watching, guys.